Really, we've been saving this, or that's what we're going to tell you. We've just not done this video yet. So now, here it is. It's a deep dive inside the Maton AP5 PRO. Here in Nashville, songwriting is a big deal, and you want your lyrics to rhyme. So that's what I was aiming for there. Hello. We'll let the camera 2 take a close-up look at the control panel of the AP5 PRO. Now this was a pickup that Maton introduced in 2013 that replaced their AP mic and then also their AP5 pickup system. It kind of combined, not only improved upon what was happening, but it combined two things. There's a piezo transducer under the saddle. Obviously that's going to take care of all of your lows, and we've all played guitars for years and years with piezo saddles, so we know what that does. But in order to make the end result sound more like this thing that I'm holding as opposed to this thing inside it, i.e. I'd like to sound like my guitar, please, as opposed to just sounding like the electronics in all our guitars, they added on this adjustable arm a microphone. I won't. I promise. How does that break down? We've talked before about the AA batteries. So they decided to use AA batteries because to them, more energy in a smaller package takes up less of a footprint, and you have longer battery life. I've mentioned before that in the middle of a show, if you did want to, well, I shouldn't do that with it plugged in. I'm an idiot. If I wanted to do that, though, I would first probably turn my amp down, then I would change batteries. But I can get to them right off the top of the guitar, so that's point number one. Love it. I'm plugged in to the amp today, and we're going to be listening to the direct signal off the AER Compact 60/4 Tommy Emmanuel model produced by AER Amps in Germany. Plugged in, they've upgraded from their previous incarnation the jack, so that the jack is like, it's tight in there, man. It ain't going anywhere. Different, as most of you know, Maton doesn't put their input jack in the strap button on the bottom end. They set it off-centered. Okay, so as we move through that, let's go into the control panel. I'm going to start just with the piezo so you can hear what that sounds like with no microphone involved at all, because it sounds pretty darn good. They will recommend your volume slider somewhere above 50%, not quite at full. I don't need to go that crazy yet. It's not the end of the night. Not everybody's imbibed. So I'm going to dial it back a little from that. And then on the piezo, I can take it from 0 up to noon. At noon, I can feel that little notch. So I'm going to be just below noon to start with. So strumming away, as one does, with just the piezo. Again, all my controls are just set flat to start. We'll get into that in a sec. But as I begin to introduce some microphone signal, you'll hear some of this. You'll hear some of this. You'll hear some of this. Testing. This is the part where they... Ooh. This is the part where we're going. This is the part. What? This is the part. Popping the P's. where you would play a Donald Fagen record or perhaps a Steely Dan record to test the mains. All right, Ruby, 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 here we go. So I've added some microphone to the signal. None microphone. Mic, blended in. All of a sudden it turned into one of those ASMR videos. But you can hear that the microphone will pick up percussiveness, it'll, all that. Turn it off for a sec so I don't pop my peas. So when I hear that microphone come in, I'm not going to rely on one or the other. It's going to be a blend of the two, and the thinking is rely on the piezo most and blend that mic signal into it. Obviously, if you've studied Tommy, he's quite tall. That's one fact. Also, though, his settings will be pretty unique to him, as is his playing, as is all that. You can definitely go full Tommy if you want. We would recommend probably working your way up to that. So I'm going to lean heavily on the piezo signal, and then I'm going to blend the mic into that. Here's quite a bit more piezo and mic at noon. Ah, I proved my point. You will get some feedback. Obviously, I'm in really close proximity to the amp, so what I want to try to do is maybe angle myself. An interesting thing is that the tone controls, so there's bass, there's treble, there's mid, and then the frequency sweep, those only affect the piezo signal. The mic is more just its placement inside the body will differentiate the tones you're hearing. But these tone controls are primarily for the piezo as well. Another thing that they improved upon that they'll tell you about the mid frequency or the frequency sweep is that it goes from 600 to 2400 or 2.4K. Like us in the biz say. No big deal. But I can really get a lot of, you'll hear, let me turn these back down a little bit. You'll hear the frequency sweep when I... Just running through a bunch of stuff with the mids and the treble and the bass sliders. They're really subtle. I don't find drastic differences, but if you're in a particularly bright or really weird room with lots of glass, you may find that you want to drop some of the high frequency stuff. Depending on what you're plugging into, obviously it's going to be different if you're plugging into a PA system or right into an amp or your DI. You know what you do. I have no idea what you're up to. The main thing you want to get into your brain, though, is that I think the piezo is still probably going to be your primary pickup, and then the mic is going to blend into that. So pretty flat settings right now. I've returned everything to flat. A little bit of mic blended into the piezo. And what I often want to do is I want to compare my, I know this isn't mic'd at the moment, but I want to compare my acoustic tone to long video, lots to talk about. The AP5 PRO comes in all of these Matons, unless otherwise indicated. Sometimes it's we've shown you before, the guitar without the microphone. But it's the same in all of these. It really can sound like your guitar coming through speakers, which is ultimately what you're aiming for. If you have a bunch of questions about it, please feel free. If you own one of these and you're like, it doesn't sound like it every time I plug it in, you may have something going on with, remember, these screws. My final closing thought, don't touch those screws. It's a terrible idea. All you're going to do is you're going to mess up the next weeks and months of your life. Just avoid it. Those are only to adjust how tight the pickup is underneath your saddle. It ain't going to change your string height. It's not. So again, straight up Tommy EBG808 with the AP5 PRO. You can write to us. You can send us audio clips of yourself playing Tommy tunes. Love it. Never heard that before. And we would be very happy to answer other questions you may have. So again, I'm going to go out with no mic, and then I'll blend the mic in so you can hear it change.